Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to all current, past, and future hackers on this channel. Today we'll go through a very quick use case of the eyeofliberty.com, which is an intelligence tool that I made and currently use virtually every day for various needs to do with pen testing and cybersecurity. One of the big things I was doing recently is actually competitor research. So what other websites are similar to this, and how do they work, and what things can I learn from them? Legally, of course. But then a fun part started kicking in and seeing what if I could use my own Eye of Liberty to find out a bit more about my competitors than what's generally accessible to the public. And one of the things I came across is a wonderful subreddit called r/OSINT which is a home for all sort of open source intelligence tools. You see people are making very cool things like Wi-Fi maps, cheat sheets with like Linux commands, very useful things, asking some questions as well for anyone in the sphere. And one of the tool of the month is actually something that I was exactly doing. And you can see it here. It was selected as the month's winner, which was Breach Detective, breachdetective.com, by one of the moderators said to be a personal favorite of his. And effectively, it offered very similar thing to what I was doing. Showed the source of the breach, showed the data that you get from just one email, and the date as well. Except the annoying thing, of course, is that they, in their free version, they have passwords censored, so that's a bit cucked in my opinion, but you can still see that a lot of people use it. And I, of course, downvoted it. No hard feelings, just a competitor that I dislike. But, people saying it's a basic tool but good for a start, exactly what they're looking for. So, it's something people do use. And I went on the website to find out a bit more about them. Seemed like an interesting website, but how does it work? And what is the backend that it uses? So you can see this one's British. They probably got a license for their cybersecurity hacking. I went on their terms of service and found something interesting. They don't actually host all of their breaches locally, but they use an external service called HackCheck. So let's see what's behind that. And if you go and Google HackCheck, you quickly find that there's some other things, but the bigger one is hackcheck.io. And it's an even bigger data breach search engine that basically Breach Detective charges people money for and adds their own extra cut on top just to forward over the data. So yeah, here they pay $20 a month. Monthly subscriptions. How dystopian is that? In the Eye of Liberty, by the way, we do not have monthly subscriptions. What you pay for, your tokens, like your bag of grains, you will keep them as long as you ever want, as long as the server is alive, which is hopefully a very, very long time. So no monthly subscriptions. We hate the Antichrist here, and we keep everything good and customer friendly. Now, so yes, they basically charge extra for another service that hackcheck.io uses. And now they've got an even nicer website that's probably vibe coded as well, but still it looks very good. And you can tell these guys are experts in their field. But I didn't want to pay for their pricing schemes. You can see here their free tier is also very limited, where you can't search by email. You have to even choose something to search by. You can't search by username and email at the same time. Seemed so weird. And yeah, by passwords is only linked behind the diamond tier, which is like $40 a month or $400 a year. So weird. These people are very, very greedy, and can't imagine them being used when you have cool alternatives like the Eye of Liberty. No hard feelings here. But looking at them, I thought, okay, I don't want to get an account myself. I do want to try and see, maybe, are any of the HackCheck users in the Eye of Liberty data breaches, which of course, since we aggregate a lot of very interesting data breaches found by the best of the Russian hackers, we have a lot of them. And after signing in, I won't go through it's a quick process, but you can do it yourself if you've got an account, which I highly recommend getting. 3 searches for free for anyone who registers. Keep that in mind. So like you'll have full uncensored data from the start. No need to even pay. And if you like it, buy some tokens. They're not too expensive and you'll have lots of searches available. And so what we do here, we search by the domain hackcheck.io. If you can't see it, right over here, click send and wait a little bit for all of the data to load. Will hopefully be very interesting to see what we find. And maybe to speed things up, I'll just click the back button because I did load it before. Oops. There we go. So that's where we found it. Apologies for, sometimes it lags, but you just have to wait a little bit longer. But there it is. So we checked. This search isn't too relevant for us because it's got just the domains. But this, look at that. So much data with uncensored logins and passwords in plain form for the domain hackcheck.io. And from there on, it became very easy. You go on, sign in, and you find someone who looks interesting. Now, I do remember seeing one guy here, yep, a very funny username called DuckDuck123. And I do love ducks myself. Hopefully one day I will move to a farm and have some of my own ducks while working remotely. That is definitely a dream. But we can enter his credentials, double check that all is good, and sign in. Now boom, we're in. We are in, as the hackers say. Because this database is from the beginning of 2025. It's very fresh. And of course, many people didn't have time to change their passwords. Well, they could have. They had a whole year, but they didn't. So we are officially in. We have gotten access to his account. Then we go into his profile. Of course, from his email, which we didn't have before, we can find even more information if we go and search it up in the Eye of Liberty. But for now, we don't need to do that because that's not the purpose of this video. What can we do though is see that this guy performed quite a lot of searches, over 12,000. And I thought, did he have an active subscription? But unfortunately not. Though clicking my subscriptions, as we can see here, can open up not just his previous purchases, but also his card details and his billing address, which is very interesting because you think, okay, what use is it that I have one random password on this HackCheck website? But then you see one thing leads to another. You click my subscription, it redirects you to Stripe, as you can see here, and you've got the token right over there. It already logs you in and effectively allows the user to change things. Now we'll wait a little bit for this to load because I noticed that Stripe doesn't like when I'm going to Russia too well. So I'll quickly pause and turn on my VPN probably and try again. And there we go. One VPN activation later. Now we wait a little bit for the Americans to give in to our hacking skills. And there we go. We're in his Stripe gateway for HackCheck. Can see how much he paid, when he paid it, and his email used for billing, his payment method. Now, of course, this is censored, so you can't actually see the card details, unfortunately. But what we can do for now, as a symbolic gesture of our love for this guy, is to add our own card details, and maybe one day he'll check and see what we do. So let's type, I think, how is this card number invalid? Awful. One thing, I want to give this guy a card and he doesn't let me. So what dates do we give him? Let's give him May of 2030. By that time we'll hopefully build our own house. And 1, 2, 3. Country Russia, of course. Add. Now we have added a Russian payment method. We can see that the card number is incorrect. Oh well, it doesn't matter. No thanks. We can try doing something else. Let's update his billing email and give him a name called Eye of Liberty. Address United States, 1 Eye of Liberty Way. City, https youtube.com @Eye of Liberty, and here https twitch.tv Eye of Liberty. Now zip, let's put this zip 95014. What state are we in? Look up zip code. That's probably the default one Stripe uses, I guess. Yeah, California. Cupertino. Okay. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. And like that, we have officially given this guy the name Eye of Liberty, and if he does log in sometime, he can go on, check our YouTube channel, and then see him getting hacked live. I think that would be very, very funny. But you can see hacking can be harmless. Hacking can show the great art and creative pathways of us to express ourselves without causing people damage. Now, of course, here we didn't steal his money, we didn't cause his family to go hungry, but we just quickly added our address and hopefully taught him a thing or two about cybersecurity. So duck123, hope you're doing very well and having a wonderful time. Log out of his account. Not like this matters too much, but of course in a business scenario something like this can be used to also spread the word about your product to customers of your competitors. Now it's semi-ethical, but I'm pretty sure it is legal if you see a guy coming out of a Sainsbury's and you go on, or like an American example, you see a guy coming out of a Walmart and you offer him a discount at Target, that's completely fine to do. If you see a guy coming out of Target and you give him a discount to Walmart as a Walmart employee, that's perfectly fine. Of course you can go and win customers over. So as an example, you can go to their account, grab their email and message them saying that I've got this cool new tool and you can use it with a free trial. More than happy for you to do so. So that's it basically. Maybe I rambled on a bit too much, but hopefully you got the gist of what we did here to get more information about our competitors legally and hack a real hacker called hackcheck.io. So hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.